Come on, camera. Let's go. All right. Let me test the audio right quick, guys. Okay, cool. It's working. Alrighty, guys. As you can see from the title, breaking news and Arbor standoff, possible gunman, or is this a red flag confiscation that has gone uh quite wrong? So, I was first alerted to this because I follow on both Reddit and on Facebook an account called Red Flag Official. What they are essentially is they are a account that whenever something to do with red flag gun confiscations, which are unconstitutional because they completely eliminate due process, anytime something like that happens, they are one of the first to know about it, and they will post about it to get the word out. It's a network essentially to uh, share what's going on in the world. Well, I was turned on to this sometime last night. I heard about this story, and I actually asked some people that I know that I thought might, have heard something more. They hadn't heard anything. The only thing I had were two photos that seemed like something serious was going on. So naturally, I wake up this morning and, I decide, you know what, I'm gonna take a look at the accounts and see if there's anything going on. Well, come to find out, they had posted the private Twitter of somebody who is involved in the situation. It is the girlfriend of the man who is currently uh, in the standoff with officers. And she goes on to explain pretty much everything that's going on. Now, before we get to that, before we get to what's going on there, I want to go to the media stories about this to show you how they're framing it before I show you what she says is going on. And I'm inclined to believe her over the media for reasons I'll explain in a moment. So let's go to this first story. It says neighbors warned to stay inside as man barricades inside home near Ann Arbor. Now you can see in this picture, even in this picture, it's a good mile, looks like, from where people are, turning around and this officer is barricading. Now, she has said the girlfriend of Omar, the man who's currently barricaded, um, she has said that there's barricades 360 degrees around his house for 2 to 2.5 miles out. No media is allowed in. No civilians are allowed in. Now, that should strike you as kind of odd, because normally in standoffs, the media is allowed within eyesight of what's going on. So that already strikes me as odd. Anyway, so let's continue. Let's keep reading, right? Residents in Washtenaw County neighborhood are being told to remain inside their homes to stay safe as police deal with a barricaded gunman. The stay-in-place order, in effect Wednesday morning, applies to residents of blah 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 that area. According to the county sheriff's office, the 32-year-old gunman has been holed up in his parents' house along Meadow Drive near Gale Road and Vreeland since about 4:30 a.m. The situation began as some sort of family dispute, officials said, leading to an hours-long standoff. So, and then they go on to show, some pictures. Deputies say there are no hostages inside the house, and there have been no injuries reported. Reported law enforcement officers have had the home surrounded and were waiting for the suspect to surrender. Now, that was posted sometime earlier. I'm trying to find the. I don't see an actual time for when this article was posted. I assume that it was sometime before the next article we're going to take a look at, because the next article makes some bold claims that other articles have not made, including this one. And so we're going to get to that. So this one says barricaded gunman opens fire as standoff enters 27th hour in Washtenaw County. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't particularly remember any hostage situations that didn't actually include a hostage that lasted this long. Just saying. Most of the time, there's hostages involved when it goes this long, which leads me to believe that the police really don't want to do anything that might get them in trouble, but yet are still surrounding this guy's house. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of these pictures, right? So we've got the sheriff's office. You got some dudes in tactical gear here. We've got this. They turned all these cars around. Uh, you know, just insane. Metro SWAT members exit the scene around the sheriff's department barricade. Uh, was it yesterday? A gunman having a mental health crisis barricaded himself inside of a home on Gale Road. Uh, the family has been evacuated. No injuries have been reported. They keep trying to get him to leave. So, yeah, they're not letting anybody in or out. And as you can see, all these photos are taken from essentially the same barricade, meaning that, the media is not allowed to get any closer than this, right? That raises questions to me, and it should to most of you. So let's read this story. Police standoff with a heavily armed man experiencing mental health crisis has entered its 27th hour. Still, with no reported injuries after the man began shooting off weapons. This is the only article that I could find as of making of this stream that says that he was shooting. She herself has said that, to her knowledge, and based on what she has talked with the police about, because she's kind of the negotiator in this, because Omar will only talk to the police through her. She has not heard anything about him shooting any weapons. So either this article is lying or this is a new development. A family living in a home, blah blah blah, called 911 about 4:30 on Wednesday, reporting that their son was suffering a mental health crisis and had assaulted his parents, according to the county sheriff's office. We're gonna get to why I think that's a lie in a moment. The caller stated the son was armed with multiple weapons and was wearing a flak jacket with multiple magazines strapped to his body. Okay. Arriving deputies were able to safely evacuate the family from the home, but the son refused to exit and began firing weapons, leading to the ongoing standoff. Okay, I'm sorry. That is not what I have heard has happened. And quite honestly, like I said, this is the only one. Okay. Here's the thing. This one says that the standoff was a result of him firing weapons. Yet we just read the other article that didn't mention that. So either the other article left out a pretty fucking big important piece of the reason that this is happening, or it didn't happen and this article is retroactively changing the narrative to make it seem like that's why this started. Which leads me to believe that the original story the first story we read is correct in that no weapons have been fired, which leads me to believe the girlfriend, whose Twitter we will take a look at in a moment. And that's why I think that this particular story that I'm reading currently is bullshit. Uh, as of 8:30 a.m., SWAT and a crisis negotiation team, a team comprised of mental health professionals, are still on scene attempting to end the situation peacefully. No injuries have been reported, but police equipment has been destroyed in the incident. What police equipment? You're just gonna say police equipment, but not say what or how? I specifics would be helpful in having us believe you. Family and friends of the subject have been working with crisis negotiators as officers employ all means to bring the situation to a peaceful conclusion. The man has communicated with police but refuses to put his weapons down and exit his parents' property. Okay. According to the girlfriend, which we'll get to in a moment, uh, the police are barely working with the friends. They're mostly working with the family, meaning the parents, who he hates because they're the ones who started the argument, according to the girlfriend. And he got upset, went to his room, and then they called the police on him. Why would he talk to them? That doesn't make sense. Two, the crisis or the the girlfriend has said that he's only been communicating to the police through her. So no direct communication. So I'm not sure if that's what they mean, but I don't think that's what they mean. Also, exit his parents' property. Um, he's a legal tenant according to the girlfriend. She said that, he's a legal tenant and the reason that he didn't move out uh earlier because of their abuse was because he didn't have the money. He was waiting for his stimulus check to get the money to get the heck out, right? And all of this is set. She did two live streams that are on her Twitter. So if you want to watch those live streams, I have linked her Twitter in the description of this live stream, and you can go and watch her live streams on her Twitter, where she explains a little bit more of the situation. I'm just kind of giving you the rundown right now. So so anyway, that's what the media is reporting at this moment, right? So that's what they're saying. Now, if we go to her Twitter, what we're gonna see is just tons of stuff. The first tweet started at 11 hours ago, so that would have been roughly at 10 o'clock last night. Now, this whole standoff's been going a lot longer than that, but I guess she started to get the word out because stuff was happening. Now, I'm going to show you some other tweets or some other pictures in a moment, but let's go to this and kind of talk about this. So, the girlfriend tweeted out, "This is the man that 50 armed security officers have trapped in his own house with militarized vehicles. No charges, no warrants. We have the officer in charge recorded saying that there are no charges and no warrants, yet they breached his home with just him in it." Now, she didn't post that recording, and so I don't know if they actually have a recording of that or not. I'm just going to qualify that just so that way you guys know. I can't confirm that they have a recording, but I personally have not been able to. I looked through multiple different news stories so far, and you saw the two that were there. As far as I've seen, they haven't said anything about charges or warrants. So I don't know. However, assuming that the media and the police are to be believed, and he really is having some sort of crisis like this, if he is a danger to himself and others for real, then I don't believe that the police actually need a warrant in order to arrest him, and no charges would be brought until he was arrested. However, if it's a red flag confiscation attempt based on false information provided by the parents, that's a whole different story. So, the cops told me directly on the phone, I believe this is also on video, that they have me threatening his parents for starting this. They know where I live and they know who I am. If the cops come for me next, keep sharing this. I want to see a warrant for intercepting communications. Apparently, they also intercepted calls between her and him. Uh, so here's a live stream. If you go to her, you can watch this live stream. It's about 20 minutes, so I'm not gonna watch it here. Um, so, like I said, go watch that. You'll see. In that live stream, she said that they cut his comms, they cut the phone lines, they cut internet, so he wasn't able to speak to anybody outside. And the excuse they told her was because she did a Zoom call with him, and they said, "Oh, well, she was egging him on." Now, here's why I think that is complete bullshit and why I'm so much so inclined to believe her over the police. Because I have these pictures, which we're going to go to. Uh, oh, wait. Shit. Hold on. You guys. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Okay. I just realized that you guys can't see the screen that I've been talking about. Well, it's not important for the news stories, but hold on. Let me pull up the stupid political browser so you can see her Twitter. That's entirely my bad, my dudes. Yes. Okay. There. Okay. Here we go. So this is her Twitter. Like I said, the uh, what I was talking about before, the two news stories they're these two news stories. So as you can see, let me just recap. This is one of the pictures. You can see how far away. And then these pictures, real quick, you can see they're all from the exact same barricade point. So no media is allowed in. Okay. So those were the only two important things from there. So anyway, let's go back to this. Okay. So this is her Twitter page, as you can see right here. You see that. Okay. Sorry about that. I got a little caught up in this story. My bad. Okay. So anyway, what was I saying? Right. So she was saying that in this live stream that I'm talking about, this one right here, she was talking about how he's lived with his parents for a while, and it got so like his parents yelled at him constantly for no reason all the time, uh, and the reason that he got in this fight about them was because he dared leave his uh his room while they were awake and to go get food. And she said that he normally doesn't go get food during the day because they're awake. He waits until nighttime to eat because he doesn't want to deal with his parents. And so he went outside, they got in an argument, he got tired of it, he went and locked himself in the room after, getting, hit a couple times by his mom. Now, I can't verify any of that. That is just what she is saying. But like I said, I'm inclined to believe her because of a couple reasons we'll get into in a moment. Continuing in the live stream, she was talking about how they cut communications. They refused to allow um, even a landline so that he could communicate with her, to communicate with the police. Apparently, at some point, there were two MRAPs parked outside with 50 police officers, SWAT officers, and stuff. And at some point, they actually breached the home, not his room, which is barricaded heavily, but the house itself. Um, and this has been going on, like 27 hours plus. Now, let's go back to what I was originally using my original screen for, which is what you guys saw, my beautiful face. However, this is what I'm trying to get with. So this is I'm going to show you the two pictures that I saw that actually made me aware of this story that concerned me, and also have me believing that the police in this situation are lying, and I'll explain why. So this first one came from Red Red Flag Alert official on I believe it's Facebook. So they're asking any info in this in the Michigan area. Now, as you can see right here, anyone know anything about this? Scanner says multiple MRAPs on site. They pulled over a car a little while ago full of armed, kitted goons. Most of the radio traffic must be encrypted. From what we know, he contacted the owner of Hoplite and notified him. Bishop hasn't responded yet. From the sound of it, the kid has been holding out for the last 18 hours. Uh, Two states on standby waiting on a Michigan goon to respond with more info. So what this sounds like is what I had been talking about with some people that I know, a red flag confiscation response team, and this is like their private messaging talking about possibly responding to this, right? And it sounds like some people went to go and they were stopped by the police, right? Well, that's interesting because we have another message here. Uh, Red flag in progress. Michigan boys needed. Warning shots fired. Right? Report to this address. Right? Now, the reason that I'm not censoring this address is because, quite honestly, there's no way you're probably going to be able to go there because they have it blocked off, so it doesn't really matter. Plus, I believe that this has been made public, this address anyway, in a couple news stories, so it doesn't really matter. Now, you might be asking why I showed you those two things. One, because that's how I was alerted to this, and two, this one in particular. This one is what has me believing that the police are liars. Why? Well, as you can see, they said that they cut his internet access and his telephone access because of the Zoom call with his girlfriend. However, what I think it actually is because he called for reinforcements. And militia members and veterans decided to respond. They caught them responding, pulled them over. As you can see from the armed vehicle full of kitted out guys that got pulled over, right? So the police don't want word about this getting out and having people come and help defend this guy. Which begs the question, well, it begs two questions. One, uh, why they would lie about it. It would be just as easily and valid to be like, hey, look, we have this guy, he's calling out for help, and he's bringing people into our crime scene that don't need to be here, that may interfere. So that's why we cut the lines. I like, but why would you not say that if it was true? If you yourself thought that you weren't doing anything wrong. The other reason, in my opinion, is that the police know they're in the wrong, which is why they have no media access, no civilian access, and they cut the phone lines and the internet access so that way he couldn't call for help because they know they're in the wrong and they don't want any resistance on this. In my opinion, this is shaping up to be a urban version of Ruby Ridge. And I really like I said, I don't know all the facts. I don't know everything. From what I've seen so far, the police seem to have lied about the reasons they have done things. She, so far, does not seem to have lied, and what she has said has been corroborated by actions of the police and the lies of the police. So I am more inclined to believe her. In addition to that, historically, red flag confiscations don't go very well. I mean, there was the one guy the older guy who opened the door. The police said, "We're here to take your guns." He said, hell no," and then went to go grab his gun, and he ended up getting shot and dying. You have Duncan Lemp, who did nothing, and they shot through his window, killing him while he was sleeping in bed, all because of what they assumed was illegal firearms possession, which turned out to not even be true. So I do not put it past law enforcement to be doing this and doing it illegally and not wanting word to get out and trying to spin the story through a media narrative to make them look good. Because, as we all know, the media loves to portray all gun owners as kooky crackpots who just want to shoot up everything, right? It couldn't possibly be that the police were called falsely to this house and this guy knew that he was about to get, you know, probably shot, so he put on body armor and picked up his guns to defend himself, and now it's a standoff. Couldn't possibly be that, right? It always has to be a mental health crisis, right? So, I just showed you those two things, which is why I think that it was, particularly that thing. Now we're gonna go back to her Twitter, where we're gonna, uh, take a look at some additional stuff because she has more posts. And to anybody who's watching, if you guys want to drop comments and ask me questions, or if you guys find any information, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. Uh, so for 2 hours, she didn't know what was going on. At the end of the live stream, she said, "I have no idea what's going on because I can't contact him." So then, 2 hours later, she posted an update. "Omar is alive. Hostage negotiations for the county sheriff's department called me, requesting an audio recording to play for him and refusing to reestablish his landline in order for me to speak to him and try to help the situation." Now, why would they want an audio recording? Well, it could be that, yeah, they want audio recording to play for him, or they want to take the audio recording, edit it, and use it as psychological warfare. Because in her most recent stream that I kind of tuned into before going live on this, she was talking about how they're, playing audio of his parents who he hates saying things to him, and it's like, well, if he hates them and they're the reason that he's in this situation, do you really think that it's a good idea to be doing that? No. Go figure. Anyway, um, then she calls out for help. she tries to get Timcast. Uh, if you guys don't know Tim Pool, he runs a couple YouTube channels. One of them is Timcast, um, and he's got a huge thing. Uh, Apparently, she was reaching out to him to try and see if he could cover this story. Um, then this is exactly why they cut his his internet and his phone because of calls for boots on the ground. She called for it too. She goes, "Need boots on the ground in Ann Arbor, Michigan. If you don't mind getting wrapped up in this shit, DM me, and I'd be happy to give you the address. We need eyes on this. We can't let the media just black this shit out. Share wherever you can. At any reporter's news, send me to me." Now, obviously, she's not calling for the same type of thing he was calling for. He was calling for literal armed backup because otherwise, why would people have been caught going to this location armed? It sounds like that's what she's calling for, but she clarified in her most recent live stream. It's she wants to organize a protest as close to the scene as that they can get. So it's not a violent thing. It's organizing a protest, right? So now let's go up. Update. We are attempting to have a friend get onto the scene in order to speak to Omar and try to defuse the situation. He is currently in the area. The cops are now actively ignoring us. They have the friend's information that I provided them and claim they are looking for someone to contact him. While there's 50 armed officers on the scene and a hostage negotiation team manning the phone for my calls, apparently. They also have barricades up over 2 miles away from his house. Okay, so then the Washtenaw Sheriff's Office tweeted out, "Family have been working with negotiators as we employ all means to bring this situation to a peaceful conclusion. In 2019, five mental health professionals joined them. Since then they have responded alongside us for all the calls." And she says, "If you think that his family is going to help this situation, you guys haven't listened to a single thing myself or Omar have told you. His family is what caused this situation. Y'all got my number when you're serious about doing shit. You're provoking, not de-escalating." And then this is the most recent live stream. Let me reload this page to see if maybe she posted anything new since I started streaming. No, it doesn't look like it. So she might still be live. So as of right now, this is what's been going on. Now, like I said, I can't be 100% certain about anything that's going on because I'm not there. I don't know everything that's going on. I don't have all the information. I just have what I've provided you right now. And quite honestly, I personally am in favor with the private citizen. And you've already heard why. Because the police have clearly lied because it sounds like now I like I said, I don't know for sure. It could easily be that information's being mixed up. Whatever. I'm not 100% sure on anything. But if any of you guys have actually done any digging into past things, you would see that Ruby Ridge, the guy was entrapped. They killed a couple people, and then the guy was eventually let off all charges because he didn't do anything wrong. The guy I was talking about earlier, the older gentleman, the 60-year-old guy, his family called a red flag on him, got him killed. And then the sister came out and bashed the police for killing him. And it's like, how are you going to bash? You're the one who called the police. So these red flag laws never work out correctly. Now, I don't know if this is a red flag law or not because it doesn't actually seem like a red flag law because as far as I'm cons- as far as what I've seen, I haven't seen any order because normally with a red flag confiscation, there's a court order to confiscate firearms. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in any of the stories. So this seems to be more of a uh, they're taking the parents' word for it, going there, and that's it. You know, I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not. I just have what I've th- shown you today, the news stories and all that. Now, I will probably go back to live stream later today, uh, simply because um, this is all the information I have right now, and I'll probably go back and live stream later on today when either she posts more or some additional information comes out. But right now, that's all the information I have. If you guys have, if you guys find any information, please drop it in the comments below. If you guys have any, if you guys are in Michigan even and you're watching this and you guys have some information, or if you guys have pictures, video, anything, please send it to me. I will, make sure that I post it with what I've got. Um, and then if you guys want to stay up to date on this story, make sure to like and subscribe to my page and hit the notification bell so that way you get additional notifications for both when I post new videos and for when I go and I live stream again. If you want to follow me on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, most of the time, I will either notify people that I'm going live on Facebook, simply because it's the easiest platform to use for me. Um, Everything else kind of takes time for people to see it. Um, so just to stay up to date. That's what's going to happen. Like I said, I'll try to keep you guys up to date on everything that's going on going forward, and that's really all the information I have today. Anyway, I will be most likely streaming again sometime this evening. I want to say maybe around 5 or so if I can. Alrighty, guys.